said it shook him up a little bit. Made him think about some things, but Emmett is going to let the body decide that. There's a dangerous throw complete to Larry Fitzgerald. Rondé Barber nearly got a hand on it.
And I'm not so sure this is it for Emmitt Smith. I think it is. I mean, he's 35 years old. He said he's going to have to evaluate after the season, but you got two really good players in both of these guys, a couple of future Hall of Famers playing in this ball game today, and this could be their last one. Now, right. Emmett says he wants 20,000 rushing yards. That's not going to happen this year. It's certainly not going to happen next year. So who knows? I mean, does Emmett go back and finish a year in Dallas? All that remains to be seen and will be decided, obviously, in the offseason.
Ian Badejo got a few inside. And here is a look at that NFC playoff picture now that some people have lost. Right now, the two wild card seeds, you see them, the Rams and the Vikings.
The only thing left to be decided, and it'll come down to the last minute and the final clock, is to see who wins the West Division between the Rams and Seattle. Because if Seattle loses to Atlanta, they're both 8-8. The Rams would win that division because they swept the Seahawks this season.
And that would mean a difference in who plays where in that first game. And that could be big with the way the NFC is shaken down.
And look at this. Atlanta's over Seattle 10-7 up there in the second quarter. That's what I'm saying. I mean, the last minute before we really know what the playoff picture is all about. That's the beauty of pro football. Competitive balance. You look at the last 3 seasons, they've been the most competitive 3 seasons in all the years of pro football. And I think it's good for the league. I mean, you look around the league, you had 2 teams that went from worst to first in their divisions, in the Atlanta Falcons and the San Diego Chargers in the AFC West.
And if the Arizona Cardinals don't make a quarterback change midway through the season with McCown doing pretty good, maybe they get that 1 extra game and end up in the playoffs. Who knows? A flag is down. McCown's in trouble. Doesn't want to run with the ball like he should. And just heaves that one up, intended for Anquan Boldin. Dexter Jackson in on the coverage.
You know, it's almost like once things break down for McCown, he doesn't have a contingency plan.
Number 74, offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Reggie Wells, who moved from guard to tackle this week.
I can tell you what happened here. I saw it from up here. He's got a hard time because here's Reggie Wells. Simeon Rice, 97, is going to take an inside rush. And as soon as he does, Wells has to grab him. I mean, he has no chance. That's a single leg takedown right there. That's a good wrestling move that you learned day 1 of wrestling practice. Shoot the single on somebody. But Wells had no chance there. I mean, once Simeon and his quickness beat him inside, it was over. Wells had to hold to protect his quarterback.
1st and 20. They'll go from I formation. Bucks bring up 8 men and try to stop the run on Emmitt Smith.
Well, what the Cards need to do rather is, to me, be physical on that offensive line. There's Everett Lindsay, the offensive line coach who played within the system of Denny Green up in Minnesota. He was actually here as a player. Transitioned maybe week 4 or 5 as the offensive line coach. Bob Wiley, who was the O-line coach, got reassigned. And he's really tried to reiterate Everett Lindsay what he knows in this system, and that's all about getting push up front with the big guys and using their size advantage at the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 16. Go over the middle of the field, incomplete to Freddie Jones. Quarles on the coverage.
You know, Freddie has quietly had an average year numbers-wise. 43 grabs coming into this season, but this is a big year for him. He is going to be an unrestricted free agent. And, you know, I think when you really look at it, big picture, that would have been a terrific one-handed catch. Freddie's now become kind of a tweener in this offense. I mean, he's no longer a great blocker, and he's really no longer a terrific receiver. So what do you do with an aging veteran that's been in the league a long time that's going to want a big contract?
Cut him.
Probably say bye-bye.
8th year in the NFL, and if you're not lighting it up like Muhsin Muhammad is for the Carolina Panthers, who's got a contract up, you almost don't have a prayer. There's a shot outside, nearly intercepted. Intended for Anquan Boldin, and Dexter Jackson came down off the pipe because they blitzed one and almost had an easy pick.
Well, and this is just an adjustment. You watch Anquan Boldin. He's here. He's trying to alert McCown that Cox is coming. He's coming. Believe me, he's coming. Throw me the quick one. Throw me the quick hitch. Tell you, if he hangs on to that, if he hangs on to that, I guarantee you he breaks the tackle by Dexter Jackson and takes off running.
Good pressure on the punt. Galloway Bobbles a little, but secures a fair catch at about the 20-yard line. A lot of running by that man. Only 3 points.
Today's game on Fox is brought to you by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Today's game is being seen around the world on Armed Forces Television. We want to send our best wishes to the men and women of the second-to-none infantry division, the Warlocks, stationed at Camp Red Cloud in Uiseongbu, Korea. We appreciate all you do for our country. Cardinals showing blitz on the right side. You can see it. They back out of it. They go empty backfield. Quick throw. Knocked away nicely by Bertrand Berry. Meanwhile, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers started out 0-4. Hit a nice little 5-3 run there mid-season, but they're back to 0-4. And over the past 2 years, the worst record for a team winning the Super Bowl.
Boy, and they've had their whole host of problems. Of course, this year it was the injuries. I think early injuries on the offense really hurt this team. They started 0-4. And then when guys started to get healthy on offense, guys started breaking down on defense.
Slant, Galloway has it, and Galloway will have a first down, close to the 35-yard line.
But I think the big thing when you look at this team, we talked about Brian Griese and his numbers. The turnovers have really hurt this team over the last several games. When you look at the last 3, all losses. Look at the turnover margin there. -7 in those football games. And again, Griese had 20 touchdowns and 10 starts. Great stuff. But you could count on at least 2 glaring mistakes in the football game that was going to give points or good field position going back the other way. And it really hurt this team, and they had to win games.
Sims will get planted. Dockett in on the pressure along with Bertrand Berry, and Sims is very slow to get up. And Tim, you make a great point, because you look at Griese's numbers at 70%, near 70% completion. You got to go all the way back to guys like Montana to find that, but he'll make that one big or 2 big mistakes a game that just kills you.
Well, and that's why I don't think John Gruden has decided on his quarterback for the 2005 season. It may very well be Chris Sims, depending on what happens here for the next 2.5 quarters.
And rightfully so. Brad Johnson warming up after that hit on Sims.
Well, that's one guy I don't think it'll be next year when you look at his contract number and the cap issues that they've already got in Tampa. Brad Johnson may be here in Arizona.
There's a shovel, and it's sniffed out perfectly by the rookie Dansby.
You know, Dansby, I've been trying to think of a nickname for him, and he does his little Birdman. And watch him here. Watch his speed as he comes down the line of scrimmage and gets the running back on the shovel pass. He's almost now, I look at him, he's kind of like one of those praying mantises. You know, like when he grabs you, you're got.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. Once Dansby has you, forget about it. I don't know if it's his hand strength or his arm strength or whatever he's got, but when he gets those hands on you, he sticks to you and brings you down to the ground. Great rookie year.
Didn't have good off-season workouts for the combine and all that, but when training camp came along, he turned it on. Sims in trouble. He'll take a knee and they'll punt it away. Dansby on the chase along with Dockett.
This defense they've got some really good core players going into next year. We talked about Russell Davis, talked about Dansby, Bertrand Berry going to the Pro Bowl. Adrian Wilson just does his new 5-year deal. And Clancy Pendergast, who's a rookie defensive coordinator this year, I think has been so innovative, has been so fresh, and has done really a heck of a job with this football team as a first-year DC. He really has.
Bidwell, his 5th punt of the game. Carl Williams all the way back to the 13. A flag is down already on the outside. That usually involves something with one of the gunners. 51 yards on the punt by Bidwell, 12 yards on the return.
You want to see a takedown?
Holding, number 26, return team. 10-yard penalty, first down, Arizona. Timeout.
Remember Robert Tate was getting the business earlier as a gunner? He says, I'm getting a little payback right here. 26 just slamming Torrey Cox and gets the penalty.
Dockett picked in the 3rd round, Dansby in the 2nd round, and both have played like first-rounders this year for the Cardinal defense. First and 10 pass from McCown. Step up, throws way behind Emmitt Smith. McCown is not sharp today. And going back to those rookies, you know, Tim, we talk about Darnell Dockett and Dansby, and then you don't forget Larry Fitzgerald. Like the rest of the rookie receivers in the NFL this year has just lit it up.
Not too bad with 8 touchdowns. How about Alex Stepanovich, a rookie, has started every game this year. You just talked about the 2 defenders on defense, and you look at this is the first draft for Denny Green and Rod Graves, and it was a good one. And you look at this season at 5-10, there is no question that it's been a disappointment for Denny Green in the front office here in Arizona based on what their expectations were.
And Badejjo hit twice, spins out to about the 22-yard line.
And you talk about Denny and Ronnie, he's less patient now than ever before. We talked about him not really having a decision yet on his quarterback. He hasn't said a lot. And I think the more you look at it and look at Arizona's situation, heck, the Bidwells are finally spending money. They've done it on a coach. They're giving guys new deals. Wilson just got the 5-year deal. They got the brand new stadium coming in a couple of years. I mean, now all they need to do is start getting the W's. And I think Denny Green, before it's all said and done here, is going to leave a mark and something to remember for the Arizona Cardinals, who have had a lot of losing seasons. I don't think there are going to be too many more of those in the future. It's up to this guy right here, Dennis Green.
Coming this February, NASCAR on Fox returns with the biggest event in all of auto racing, the Daytona 500. The world's best drivers will go bumper to bumper, kicking off 15 weeks of NASCAR coverage. It's the 47th running of the Daytona 500 this February in high definition and only on Fox. Third down and 4.
Watch the slant right here.
Barber looks like he might be coming off the edge. He does. They pick him up. They can't avoid the tip. Quarles comes in on the rush as well, and that'll force another punting situation for Arizona. Their 3rd 3-and-out today. I think Brad Johnson ending up here in Arizona.
Well, that's a possibility. Look, Rondé Barber's playing like a DM. What do you do when a guy gets you low? He's trying to get you off your feet. You jump up, and chances are you're going to get a bat down, but Quarles gets it first coming off the blitz.
Flag is down before the play even gets going. Galloway's got a nice wall. He's inside, across the 50. Don't want to get too excited because we've got another penalty flag down. Boy, that Buccaneers sideline is getting a lot of action. A lot of flag action. Penalty will go against Tampa Bay.
Men defense. That's a 5-yard penalty, and it's enough yardage for a first down.
Oh,
and there you go.
That is brutal. How do you get 12 guys on the field and it gives Arizona a first down? That's the kind of year it's been for John Gruden and his football team.
And last week, the interception, we talked about that from Greasy, the drop balls. Turnovers, miscommunication on the handoff.
Well, and I think the big thing, I mean, you talk about the turnovers on offense and on special teams. How about the inability to get off the field on defense? And that was a huge problem as well.
And it all culminated with the Kendall Moorhead interception return for a touchdown.
Very humbling year for John Gruden, as he told us yesterday.
Smith looking for the outside. Nice job by Mario Edwards of keeping what they call perimeter contained. This offense, Tim, I guess, is inept.
Well, they haven't done anything all day. I mean, look at the drives. And look it up here. 0 points.
This is a 2-minute warning.
That is the 2-minute warning. And that was a lot of punts on that graphic.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Sprint PCS Picture Mail. It's easy for football fans to shoot, send, and share their own football moments.
Coming up, it's the Visa Halftime Report. All the scores and highlights with JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy, plus the Fox Sports ticker. And boy, you need that ticker today with all the stuff going on. The Visa Halftime Report coming your way. That's a very salty-looking John Gruden. 2nd and 8. First play under the 2-minute warning. Here the Bucks checking out of it. Another bat down. Looked like Simeon Rice was in on that one. But Simeon Rice still lives out here. He's got a house out here. Nice little condo. In fact, it was right behind our hotel. He was on the terrace.
Simeon here as he's going to get the bat down, keeping his vision, staying in his lane, and then last thing he can do is he's got 2 blockers in front of him. Just get a hand up and get a bat down. And I'll tell you, a couple of weeks ago, he had some pretty harsh criticism for John Gruden and this football team and the way things are being run.
Look at, he's trying to get the crowd going. You could hear the boos. I'm not sure if those are boos against Arizona's offense or boos against Simeon. 3rd and 8. Pressure by Spires.
That's terrible. That is terrible.
Interception, Dwight Smith.
Are you kidding me? Look at McCown just flick this out here with no regard for the turnover. What do you not want your quarterback to do? You don't want him to turn the ball over. He threw 2 last week in the football game, had several others dropped against Seattle. And look, he's just going to flick this one up for grabs. Spires brings the pressure. Now he's just throwing it right into double coverage, and Freddie Jones has no chance. And he's double covered by a safety and a nickel corner, and McCown just puts it up for grabs.
Josh McCown now with 10 interceptions on the year. He has been known to do this. In fact, if he doesn't get great catches by his wide receivers, the other throws have ended up too often like that.
After the play was over, Tony, number 28, defense, 15-yard penalty, 1st and 10, Tampa Bay.
So, you know, all the stuff that Simeon had to say about John Gruden and a lack of discipline and running a loose ship hasn't worked with this football team. It's plays like this that have really hurt this team. John Gruden's not the one out there taunting. John Gruden's not Pittman last week fumbling. John Gruden's not Greasy last week throwing interceptions at key times. He's not lining up on defense when they can't get off the field on 4th down and Brooks picks up 13. When you talk about a frustrating, humbling year for a head coach who's been under criticism, it's been right up John Gruden's alley.
Sims, first catch today with Joe Jurevicius. And Jurevicius is out to about the 43-yard line.
See how the young quarterback runs this 2-minute offense.
Galloway is at the 31.
Good throw, Ronnie.
Nice throw.
And there's only one place that Sims could put that football, in between that bracket coverage. Just line that thing up on a laser and put it exactly where it needed to be, on the outside shoulder of Galloway.
You can see one timeout left for Tampa Bay. There's the out. Should get out of bounds. After the pickup, he does. Jurevicius with another nice pickup. Tim, you talked about the comments Simeon Rice made, and he told us last night in the meeting that he doesn't have any retraction for it. He talked to Gruden about it.
You know what? Maybe lack of discipline was the wrong word. And that's what Simeon said. That's what John Gruden said. Simeon said he's just telling the truth. Something's lacking. I mean, a 5-10 team, whether it's discipline, whether it's playmaking ability, I don't know, but something's missing.
And Rondé Barber backed up Simeon Rice's comments for all intents and purposes. There's an interception. Dockett. He loses his helmet. Now he loses the ball. Look at this. Pittman has a chance to save it for the Buccaneers, and he does. A flag is down back upfield at the 38-yard line. And I think that play pretty much wraps up the season for both teams. And an injured Buccaneer.
That's Derek Deese.
Deese is down at the 40.
Well, Tampa talked all week about picking up the blitz. They weren't able to do it that time. Arizona just threw an overload blitz at them, sent more than they could block, and they forced Griese into a big mistake.
Dansby looked to come around the corner.
Well, Dansby's going to come right in here, number 58. He and James Darling. Pittman whiffs on both of them.
That's a shot.
Dansby gets the big shot, and then Dockett comes down with it.
That's a shot.
And then there's the flag right there, the personal foul face mask. Grabs the helmet and just rips it off Dockett's head.
Derek Deese is still on the ground.
See the blitz? They send more than they can block.
Oh.
Pittman responsible for 2 guys. He misses both of them.
Kenyatta Walker just ripped his lid off. And now here goes a mad scramble for the ball.
That helmet comes off too easy. Dockett loses his helmet 2 times a game.
The ball was intercepted, returned by Arizona, fumbled, then advanced forward. The ball went forward, was recovered by Tampa Bay. However, during the return by Arizona, there was a personal foul, grabbing and pulling the face mask, number 67, Tampa Bay. Because Arizona lost possession of the ball, by rule, we'll go back to the spot of the fumble, assess the 15-yard penalty. It will be Arizona's ball, 1st and 10.
Well, all righty.
Any way you look at it, it's Clancy Pendergrass drawing up a blitz that Tampa wasn't ready to block. And we've talked about this throughout the ball game, that Tampa felt pretty good about their blitz protections and they were going to get those exotic blitzes picked up. Well, they didn't that time, and Clancy down there congratulating his rookie Darnell Dockett, really reaping the benefits of the sack there by Carlos Dansby.
So in essence, the penalty for the face mask moves the Cardinals back, but they had already retained possession, so they'll take over at the 40-yard line, their own 40-yard line. Outside pressure, and it's incomplete. Dexter Jackson, he's making his presence known here as a former Arizona Cardinal.
Well, and he's going to come right here from the right side of your screen unblocked. It's clear that this game is all about the blitz and which quarterback can adjust. And McCown never sees this thing coming. And you got Dexter Jackson, who's just a free runner out there. McCown's just going through his progression. He's just going to throw that little out route. You've got to be able to diagnose a little better than that as a quarterback when that blitz is coming off the edge.
Got Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald with a great catch and a first down. Finally run out of bounds by Jackson.
Here's Fitzgerald here. He's just going to come out and do a little crossing route, get back in front of the quarterback against that zone, just sitting up in front of the linebackers. Quarles tries to match up with him just a little bit late. Perfect throw by McCown, and then because Quarles was behind him and trailing him, Fitzgerald able to pick up some positive yards after the catch.
A pickup of 13. 3 timeouts left for Arizona. Ed Bolden checked it down instead to Ian Badejo. And Badejo is close to the 25-yard line. Clock is going. They better stop it. They do. They'll burn their first timeout.
This is the first charged timeout, Arizona.
Meanwhile, this guy here has been pretty good. Neil Rackers. He's got 5 field goals of over 50 yards. And from this distance here, which would be, let's call it 40, somewhere in the 40, 41, 42, 45 to be exact, he is 4 for 4.
Well, he's been the best thing going all year for the special teams for Arizona, because that's another area. When you talk about wish list for 2005, that's an area where Denny Green knows there's a must for this team to get better in. Like I said, Rackers has been the lone bright spot for this team's special teams. Now, Player has done a good job punting, but their return units just have not left anything to be desired, or a lot to be desired for Denny Green. He wants more returns for more yards next year from a special teams unit.
This will be a 2nd and 11 with 21 seconds left for McCown. We'll go with his 3 wide out package again. Fitzgerald in the slot up top. Going for Johnson, wide open, and he was late on the ball.
You just wonder about Josh McCown's ability to see receivers down the football field quickly and process the information. His receiver is so open going down the sideline on the takeoff route, but McCown can't diagnose it soon enough. I mean, he's going back, and then he just throws that football too late. That's all there is to it. That doesn't happen in the NFL. In college, you can get away with it. Up in the Sunday afternoon league, you got to throw that football on time because those open windows close in a hurry.
They're going to have to be aware of the clock on this one. 15 seconds left. A 3rd and 11. Using up a lot of time here. Another end zone shot. Same situation. Too late on it. Now they're down to 8 seconds.
Again, too late throwing the football, which is going to give the safety time to get over. There it is again. Bryant Johnson out on the edge there. Now that ball should already be gone.
Yep.
You see, it's too late, which is going to give Dwight Smith an opportunity to get over there, get in front of the receiver, and break it up.
And he needs to learn how to look the safeties off. Pump fake, look one way.
Well, the whole process
the
needs to be quicker, Ronnie. You got to look quicker, you got to process the information quicker, and you got to get rid of the football quicker.
45 yards for Rackers. He's been perfect from this distance. He'll be 5 for 5. So in spite of the miscues by McCown, the Arizona Cardinals come away with yet another 3 points. And the miscues for Tampa Bay just continue to add up and add up and add up.
Absolutely. And see what they do in the second half in terms of protecting against that blitz. Now only down 6-0. I still think Tampa Bay needs to figure out a way to get Michael Pittman running the football. I mean, think about it. Arizona gave up $154 to Sean Alexander last week. Now Pittman is not in Alexander's league. Alexander's tops in the league in rushing coming into today. But Arizona's still 29th in run defense. You've got to take some pressure off your young quarterback in Chris Sims. How do you do that? By running the football against a defense that's had trouble stopping the run.
Don't forget, coming up, the Visa halftime report, the scores and highlights from around the NFL. We will clear up that playoff picture. The guys will in the studio, plus the Fox Sports ticker coming your way in about 3 seconds. So thank goodness for a healthy and accurate Neil Rackers today, who had to do all the scoring. He's hit twice, and he has accounted for all the points. His first shot in the first quarter from 40 yards out, and he hits here from 45. Helps to have a long distance accurate kicker. There's another long distance shot. Look at that. That one rolls down to Tucson. 3 seconds left here. And
wouldn't that be up to Tucson? Or is that down to Tucson?
I think it's down.
Is it down?
Yeah, I think it's down. You know, we're California guys.
Yeah,
what do we know? Right.
Take your knee, get into the locker room
right.
now, get back to the drawing board and figure out how to adjust and pick up the blitz when you have to.
And Sean King, as we look at McCown getting taped up here, is the backup quarterback. King came in for 2 games in replace of McCown and didn't fare very well at all. Was yanked very quickly for the rookie Navarre.
What did Summerall used to say? Nothing doing. Right?
And that is the end of the first half. It is 6-0 Arizona. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages.
The Visa Halftime Report is brought to you by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game.
All right, as we welcome you to the Visa Halftime, those of you watching Tampa Bay and Arizona, the Bucs trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Right now, 2 field goals. The difference in this contest, Cardinals on top of the Buccaneers.
All right, Atlanta, Mike Vick back to pass hit by Chad Brown. Fumbles, comes up, wincing a little bit on his shoulder. Remember, he had been injured earlier, left out a couple of games, but it is Matt Hasselbeck. Then is picked off by D'Angelo Hall, who knocked the great Jerry Rice down, stepped in front of the interception, 48-yard score, 17-7. Atlanta over Seattle. But Hasselbeck coming back, looks right, looks to the wide flare. This is impressive. Then guns it to Darrell Jackson for a 3-yard score, 17-14. Atlanta over Seattle. Jets, St. Louis. Mark Bolger's pass is deflected by Sean Ellis. There to pick it off in the air, Jonathan Vilma. He returns it 38 yards for the touchdown. 2-point conversion fails, 26-21 Jets. Bulger back, down the middle, to the corner, post corner route to Torrey Holt, 19-yard score, 29-26, 2-point conversion was good. Boy, what a break here. Chad Pennington into the end zone. Adam Archuleta almost picked it off, but fails to do so. We're tied at 29 all, and then in overtime, Jeff Wilkins nailed the 31-yarder. Rams and the Jets, even the Rams, both Rams and Jets advance to the playoffs. Dante Culpepper getting ready to have a big day, but it's Patrick Ramsey looking down the field, then out into the flat to Robert Roy, 4-yard score, 14-3. Redskins over the Vikings. Culpepper then, watch top right of your screen, folks. Randy Moss appears to be covered, doesn't he? Score, he's covered. Look at that grab. 28-yard score, 39 touchdown passes on the year, franchise record for Dante Culpepper, 14-10. Patrick Ramsey down the middle of the football field. Someone blew a covered Taylor Jacobs there for a 45-yard gain. This would lead to a Redskin touchdown, and then it's 21-10 in overtime. I mean, not overtime, but with 2 seconds left. Randy Moss says, I'm out of here, had enough. Good luck, fellas, even though it's a team game. 21-18, Washington beats Minnesota. Carolina and the Saints getting it on. Carl Hankton and the Saints, Mel Mitchell. Mitchell then gets in to the face of his head coach, Jim Haslett. Haslett's letting him know, don't appreciate it. Better back away, young'un. That guy on the right there, he can take you down.
He kicked you
Aaron Brooks back. Guns it. Has anybody got a better arm in the league? Maybe, I don't know. Joe Horn, 44-yard touchdown reception, 21-10. It is the Saints. And then back, Jake Delhomme to Muhsin Muhammad. 9-yard score, 21-18. Muhsin Muhammad, 2-point conversion, by the way, was good. Muhsin Muhammad then, as we watch John Casey line up for the 60-yard field goal to put this thing tight, sending it overtime, 21-18, Saints over Carolina. What I wanted to say, Muhsin Muhammad, 16 touchdown receptions, leads the NFL.
Next weekend's matchups wild card. It'll be Minnesota at Green Bay. Third time they're hooking up, and it'll be St. Louis at Seattle or Seattle at St. Louis, depending upon whether or not Seattle wins this game. Chargers over the Chiefs, 17-3 in that one. San Diego will host the Jets next week. Jags are in the playoffs with a win and a Broncos loss. Right now, 3-all with the Raiders. Peyton Manning pulled after the first series here. Colts losing 17-14. The Broncos can clinch a wild card berth with the win.
Ray Lewis and the Ravens hoping for a playoff berth. Says Rosenfeld is picked off by Jared Johnson. He takes it in from 6 yards out, 17-7 Ravens. Then Jamal Lewis, 2-yard touchdown run, and the final is 30-23. Ravens over the Miami Dolphins. Pittsburgh Steelers hoping to go to 15-1. Doesn't look good early as Maddox is picked off by Nate Clements. 30-yard touchdown, interception return for a touchdown. 17-16. It is Buffalo. Then Drew Bledsoe is hit by Cole Claw, and he fumbles, recovered by James Harrison. 18 yards later for the touchdown, 29-24. Steelers win, are the first AFC team to go to 15-1 in the regular season. 49ers in New England, fourth quarter, Corey Dillon, 6-yard touchdown, 12th rushing touchdown of the season, 21-7. It is New England riding a high going into the playoffs.
Wild card situation there. One spot remaining. The Jets are in, so a battle there with the Ravens, the Broncos, and, of course, the Jaguars. If Denver wins, they are in. Cleveland, Terry Robisky, interim coach, picking up his first victory, that over the Texans.
Up for the LSU job, I might add.
And the Bengals playing the Eagles, who I guess played their second squad, but nonetheless they came up victorious. Saw a little nod down there. I'll leave that one alone. Tennessee Titans knocked off the Detroit Lions. And, of course, the Green Bay Packers rolling into the postseason, clinching the division title. We know that's already squared away.
And Brett Favre with 8 seasons of 30 touchdown passes, an NFL record. No one's ever done that before.
Big boy.
Well, you know, Chris Sims, this kid can't catch a break. He gets the job earlier in the year, plays in the New Orleans game in his first start. They're under siege, gets hit on a protection breakdown, goes down. Griese comes in, takes the team the rest of the season. Griese comes in for one series. Guess why? They're playing Arizona. Arizona's defense will flat out get after you. He's been under siege today. The kid has been hit, mauled, hurried, and harassed. You'd like to see him have an opportunity to set his feet and see what he can do, but the protection has been terrible today.
Before I get in the playoffs, probably Les Miles from Oklahoma State at LSU, not Terry. But I'd like to see Terry get it.
Terry's an alumni.
Yeah, exactly. Les Miles.
That's right.
Minnesota going on the road to play at Green Bay. Lost to Green Bay twice this year, 31-34. And right now, not a lot of confidence. Going to be a little turmoil. You know, Mike Tice, head coach, Randy Moss walking off the field. They didn't look like they were a winning football team.
And these last two seasons, a mirror image. Green Bay starts out slow, finishes strong. Minnesota starts out fast, finishes weak.
I hope Terry Brabitsky gets that job. Yeah. I hope he does. Yeah.
Bradshaw made a good point about Randy Moss. It is a team game.
Yeah.
Visa halftime continues.
Good point.
Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game.
A gorgeous mansion, a beautiful woman, and 8 charming men. You think you've seen it before.
I think you may be my dad.
Trust us, you haven't.
I'm your dad. And I'm your dad.
I'm your dad.
A Fox television event. One of them is her long-lost dad.
I was adopted when I was 6 weeks old.
But can she figure out who he is?
Oh, God. What are you guys? Oh, my dad.
Who's Your Daddy? A 90-minute Fox special at 8/7 Central tomorrow on Fox.
Paris and Nicole are back, and this time they're the business world's worst nightmare. They're interns.
If you just put water in coffee, does it work?
From a Wall Street firm.
Hi, we're taking lunch orders.
To a busy airline.
And you can sit in the laboratory for half price.
To a funeral home.
So which one of you is planning to die?
This time they mean business. The Simple Life Interns, coming soon to Fox.
We're in the first round here at the United Way Draft. Let's look at how some previous first-rounders have impacted their communities.
Tony Gonzalez, drafted by the Soup Kitchen in Kansas City.
The great Peyton Manning, drafted by the Arts and Crafts Club in Indianapolis.
And, of course, Chris Samuels, drafted by the Reading Program in Washington, D.C. These guys have left quite a legacy. Good thing the experts are calling this year's class one of the strongest volunteer crops ever.
Get involved in your community. It's what matters.
Our score here at halftime is Arizona 6, Tampa Bay nothing. Our sideline reporter Kevin McCabe caught up with head coach John Gruden.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Downstairs here with John Gruden. Coach, how frustrating are the penalties, the turnovers plaguing you again?
That's ridiculous, and we start the game with 2 penalties. We have a couple that really stymie drives. Arizona's getting after us right now against the run and against the pass. We got to tighten it up here. It's going to be a long day.
Settle Chris in, get him a little more protection, a little more time?
Well, there's only so much you can do now. You can't keep everybody in and expect to have any targets to throw at. We've got to pick up the blitz more physically. We've got to be able to run the ball with some kind of success.
All right, good luck in the second half. More bad news for Tampa Bay. Derek Deese, the veteran tackle, out with a left sprained knee. His return is questionable. Back upstairs, guys.
We'll be back for the start of the second half after these messages from your local Fox station. We're at halftime here in Arizona. 6-0 Arizona Cardinals in the lead. And it has been a sloppy game in a lot of regards, a lot of penalties, a lot of breakdowns, especially for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But for the Arizona Cardinals, Tim Ryan, they are on fire defensively. Talking about Darnell Dockett, Dansby. The D's are all over the place.
Well, they have. They've been everywhere, and they're playing good football. And they've made Tampa and Chris Sims look like a young quarterback, which he is. I mean, Sims hasn't had any help running the football with Pittman because Arizona's been there to stuff it. And then when he's back to pass, they've got him pretty good with the blitz. They've had some free runners. And again, a complete football game when you look at it with the Arizona Cardinals defensively. They're knocking the ball loose. They've got a turnover. Not a lot of running lanes for Pittman. And I give them a lot of credit for what they've done defensively so far in the first half of this football game.
Meanwhile, for the Arizona offense,